Project Zomboid has a really big problem that at times can make me hate it. And that problem is the fact that this game gave me everything I have ever wanted in a zombie game. Confused yet? You must be new here. Come on in. Come on in, sit on down. It doesn't get any less convoluted. To be more specific, it has 3 big problems that all kind of stem from the same issue. Now, if you're saying something like, get to the fucking point, manlet, those issues can be summarized into the game letting realism get in the way of fun, the late game content being an absolute depressing abyss, and the development time for this game making me go batshit bonkers insane. But that doesn't really describe my problem that I have with this game. There is a much deeper reason as to why at times this game is hard to open, and you're not going to want to skip ahead because it gets good. Oh, hey, don't you fucking skip ahead. Don't you As you can see here, based on my argument, because I cannot sex the zombies, it gets a 1 out of 10. My mother watches these videos. Now, I know what many of you are thinking right now. Who the fuck does this hobbit think he is criticizing one of the most cherished zombie games to ever grace mankind? I know. But you should know that I fucking love this game. Honestly, it brings me no pleasure in shitting on it. Well, I mean, it gives me a little bit of pleasure. I do love pooping. But first, in order to really and effectively get my point across to you, we need some much needed context. You see, I love this game because it enabled me to live out the fantasy of surviving through the zombie apocalypse. I know that seems very deranged to say. You're right. But from the moment I discovered the zombie genre, my brain would not stop coming up with fictional scenarios about the zombie apocalypse. I could be sitting at a basketball game and my brain would immediately go, if half the people here turn into zombies, what would I do first? What weapons would I grab to kill as many zombies as I could? Who in my family is the weakest link? How quickly could I rise to power like a Roman emperor? I was 9, by the way. And don't try and be holier than thou and say, oh, not me, I'm not fucking weird. I know every single one of you has asked yourself that exact same question. Maybe not the Roman emperor part, but you have often thought who in your family needs to get dusted. Everybody has wondered, how or would I survive the zombie apocalypse? I constantly consumed media that would allow me to get closer to that answer. I'm talking zombie movies, zombie shows, zombie books, kinda, and zombie comics. And while I love all of that zombie shit, no form of media could scratch that itch quite like zombie video games. Because you got to physically control the character in said video game. You decided what weapon you used to kill the zombies. You decided what loot was necessary and valuable. And you decided who in your family needed to become worm food. The more zombie games I played, the happier I became. But despite all of that, I was never fully satiated. I never found a zombie game that really allowed me to explore the idea of actively living through a zombie apocalypse. Many games got close, no doubt, but none of them really hit how I wanted them to hit. All of the zombie games I played would go down one of 3 roads. Either they would flood your little lizard brain with dopamine by pumping out all the most insane gore physics and coolest fucking craziest ways to kill zombies. Maybe they would craft these amazingly well-told stories that really tugged on the heartstrings and at times would make a grown man cry. Or they focused on making the scariest fucking game imaginable just to remind you how unsettling the idea that dead people started to rise up and eat other human beings was. I mean, even 9-year-old me was like, yeah, this shit doesn't seem fun anymore. This is ass. But I never felt like any of these admittedly great zombie games fully explored the questions only the zombie media could bring up. I was looking for a zombie video game that had the immersion my 9-year-old brain was craving. No, it hasn't developed any further past that. And while some games got close, none of them really satiated me. That was until Project Zomboid came around. I'm not kidding when I tell you this game literally checked all the boxes I've ever wanted. You got to play as you, and depending on how immersive you wanted it, it could be with your own real-life strengths and weaknesses. Unlike in most narrative zombie games, there was no story, just like life. The only goal you had was to survive. You needed to keep yourself from getting bit, starving to death, or falling into depression. You always had to be mindful of how much noise you were making, and you didn't want to get spotted by hordes. And you had to do everything in your power not to go fucking insane. I hear them too. It was like I was finally getting all of the answers I had ever wanted ever since I was a kid. Every zombie scenario that I have ever thought could be fully realized in this game. This game gave me everything I wanted. And that is the problem. The biggest weakness in this game is also its biggest strength, the immersion. I am pretty pretentious, aren't I? When I first played this game and I was introduced to the in-depth character selection screen, and I just saw how brutal the zombie apocalypse was and how difficult the game was, I started kicking my feet and wiggling my toes. This game was as close to reality as I possibly could get for the zombie apocalypse, aside from calling up the CDC to make it happen. Do you guys have like a virus or something that can make dead people come back and start eating the living? No, we don't. We have a fungus that does something similar. Is this a child? Project Zomboid, for a while, was that motherfucking game. It came with all of the craziness and confusion and brutality that the zombie apocalypse is known for. But it also came with some of the most boring ass shit I've ever done in a video game. In order for this game to succeed at what it sets out to do, which is to be immersive, you can't have all the fun zombie killing shit without the really boring lame ass poop dick stuff. Running from or killing zombies is this game's bread and butter. But what is also its butter and bread is chores. If you want clean drinking water before the water shuts off, you have to learn about plumbing and carpentry and build your own sustainable, renewable water source. But wait! This video is sponsored by Factor. Me and my wife have very, very busy lives. Having to juggle work, exercise, yes, I play pickleball like a real man, and having to play with my dog. The idea of cooking dinner at the end of a long, stressful day is nauseating to me. So me and my wife would often just eat out. This was not only bad for our health, but also our wallets. Oh, that's not good. This is where Factor comes in to save the day. Factor delivers quick and easy and nutritious meals right to your doorstep. Not only are meals super fresh and easy to make, all you have to do is pop these bad boys into the microwave for 2 minutes and you're eating good, but it's also incredibly nutritious and powers me up for the rest of the day. With Factor, you get to enjoy more nutritious and balanced meal options tailored to a wider range of health goals, so you can reach them with ease. With over 80 different meals rotating weekly, holy shit, you are guaranteed to find a meal that you absolutely love. Take it from me, I am a rather picky eater, and every single meal they sent me was delicious. So head on over to factor75.com or click the link below and use code McSpoonsFB50 to get 50% off and 1 year of free breakfast. What the fuck? I might use my own code, if I'm being honest. Thank you again to our dear friends at Factor for sponsoring this video. Now, back to some hobbit yapping about some dumb shit that is probably wrong. This could be either tying a rain collector to a sink, or just collecting water at a lake and then boiling it. Great. If you want power after the grid shuts off, you got to find a generator, which are fucking rare, by the way, and you got to learn how to use it and not be a dumb fuck and put it inside. Yes, I did that. Yes, I did that more than once. If you want a sustainable food source after you've ransacked the entire town and taken all the food and your gluttonous ass has eaten everything inside, you're going to need to learn how to farm or forage. Many of these things that you have to do in order to live, which I'm assuming you want to do, if not, just call me, man. It'll be all right. All of these things need to get done if you want to survive. And you're going to need to learn about metalworking, carpentry, farming, fitness, and first aid. This is going to require a lot of reading and a lot of sitting in front of a static TV that has no images, it just has text, if you want to do it quickly. While yes, all of these mechanics add to the immersive experience that you get with this game, and it does make the world feel like it's lived in, or was lived in. Everybody's dead. But as a gamer, to put it kindly, this is shit ass. And I often felt guilty not loving it like I thought I would. Perhaps I built up the idea of immersion too grandly. What the fuck? I can only carry like 8 planks max, and it takes 4 planks per wall? This is insane. Oh yeah, bitch? How many planks can you carry at a time, huh? Yeah? Is it more than 8? Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Holy shit, what the fuck? Does no car have any gas or a key in the ignition? It's the fucking apocalypse. Do you think the world prepped itself for you before it ended? Okay. How many times do cars have keys in the ignition? Oh my god, my character says that they're uncomfortable, but it won't tell me why they're uncomfortable, so I don't know how to fucking fix it? Well, aren't there things wrong with you that can't be explained, and you're not really sure why you do the things you do? Yeah, that's true. That's true. I have been told that I'm schizophrenic. Every time I would hover my cursor over this game with the sole intent of extinguishing all the zombies in my neighborhood, I would pull away, because I also had the thought that if I didn't want to die from corpse sickness, I would have to burn and clean up every single zombie I killed near my base. And that shit seemed nauseating to me. I understand this is a very spoiled take, because, and I cannot stress this enough, this game gave me everything I wanted. And I guess that the idea that the zombie game I have wanted since I was a kid was underwhelming was just something that hurt a little bit more than I thought it would. But then something inside of me simply said, fuck that shit. It had been decades of hunting for a zombie game that satiated me, and I finally found the zombie game, and now I don't even want to play it anymore? That's fucking ridiculous. I'm gonna bulldoze through that feeling. I'm gonna play this game. After all, now that I think about it, I have always liked slower paced games. Growing up, I played the Sims games religiously, and I absolutely love Zoo Tycoon. Nice shout out to anyone that played that game. Slow paced games have never bothered me. In fact, I love them. And Project Zomboid is like those games, but with zombies? What the fuck am I complaining for? Truly, am I the problem? Am I wrong? No. No, my opinions kick ass, but fuck it nonetheless. I booted up this game, I started building, I started learning, and I started doing the shit I didn't want to do. And after a few days of working on my base, and I stepped back and I saw that beautiful wall I had constructed around my starter house, I felt a sense of pride. And I was having way more fun than I ever have before. The more I kept doing this, all of that tedious bullshit that I loathed initially became the best part of the game after like a week. After leveling up my guy and turning my house into a sustainable living ecosystem, I realized that it was all worth it. And I suddenly had a newfound love for this game. And by the end of like a month straight of playing this game, learning all the mechanics I could, just getting better overall, I realized that, yeah, this game gave me everything I wanted. The world I had entered into became my zombie playground. 9-year-old me couldn't have been happier. And 28-year-old me learned a little bit about himself. Yeah, okay. No one likes this bit. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, okay. And as I was riding that high, something hit me like a brick fucking wall, and I was brought right back down to reality. I had to take a moment and stop filming for a second. That's why there's the sudden change in apparel, but don't think too hard on that. The other main issue I have with this game, as I said before, is the post-game content. Because after you start to understand the basics and the threat of death becomes far less significant, you kind of can do whatever you want. And that leads to some of the most insane boredom shit I've ever experienced in my life. I understand life in itself has no particular goal, and this game doesn't either, aside from actually surviving. But what if you achieve that goal? What if you have legitimately survived? What do you do next? That's the question almost every veteran Zomboid player has asked themselves, and if you don't believe me, just look at all your favorite Project Zomboid YouTubers, and if you look closely, you'll see that they're doing the most fucking insane batshit challenges possible just to feel something. Hey, welcome back to Project Zomboid. Today we're going to be surviving against 1 million fucking sprinters, and I also have no arms, and there's no more food left on the planet. How long can I survive? This game, at a certain point, becomes very aimless. And it almost feels like the game doesn't want to fix that issue. Instead, they want to just put updates out that make the game harder, so it's less likely you'll even encounter this issue yourself. Like, they've really slowed down a lot of the progress because players were starting to get really good. Developers are like, no, because there's no post-game. There's nothing to do after this, so we really just want you to die within the first month. Unlike the first issue, this was a problem I had that I simply couldn't figure out how to get around. I mean, once I had my base, sure, I could enhance the walls with metal walls, I could build a farm, I can do other things, but the question in my head still remained, what next? I'm sure there's plenty of things in the game I can do that I don't even know about. I mean, I haven't even fucking touched animal husbandry. No shot in hell. Now, you're going to hate me for saying this, but I think the game does somewhat hurt itself because it has no quests or NPCs to talk to. Sure, I understand that the atmosphere they've created of that lonely survivor is palpable and amazing, but at a certain point, you stop feeling lonely and you start feeling bored as shit. I only bring this up kind of towards the end here because I know many players won't even get to experience this kind of issue. And God bless you, son. Never get good at this game. But here's one issue that I think many Project Zomboid players can agree with me on, and that's the development time. Look, I'm not a game dev. I have no idea how difficult it is to make a game. I imagine it's a little tough. So it's very spoiled of me to just come out here as a consumer and ask the developers to give me more stuff to consume quicker. But fuck me dead, guys. What the hell is this? Look, you've just witnessed a hobbit complain for roughly 15 minutes, and are you okay? And while this video seems very negative in nature, after all, I'm criticizing this game for the most part, the statement still stands. I really like this game. Scratch that. I really love this game. It's by far my favorite zombie game I've ever played, which, yes, is a shocker to me, and probably will be for the remainder of my life. These issues, who gives a shit? The game is awesome, the game rocks, and if they never fix these problems, sure, I might go on a dry spell and not play this game for a couple months, but like Minecraft, Pokemon, Valorant, I always end up coming back eventually. God, it is hot as dick and balls in this fucking room, man.